Ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about knife crime, the black community in respect of politics, Brexit and business, all coming up on the show. The news over the last few days has been talking politics, politics, and politics. But yet at the same time, there's another news which keeps coming up over and over again in a subtle way, that is knife crime. To the point that even another potential terror attack was thwarted by the police in Westminster, and the alleged assailant was in possession of 3 knives. We're seeing videos of young children with knives. What is it that would compel young children traveling in packs to shank, stab, chop, and hack another youth? We are seeing it daily, but sad to say it seems to matter more when it comes closer to home. Well, if that is the case, should we then start to look closer than the community, but instead to the neighborhood? Okay, this is a UK issue. Okay, this is a local issue. No, it is a community issue. Is it a black community issue? And if so, why? Is there an effective groundswell effectively and collectively to address this issue? Share your comments below or on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram with the hashtag SYLBOURNETV. Joining us today, we have Paul McKenzie, a professional public speaker and life coach who has made changes in the lives of hundreds of clients over the past 15 years. Welcome to the show, Mr. McKenzie.
Mr. Sil.
You know, I didn't say Paul. You know, I said Mr. McKenzie because you got to give respect, man. You know, Paul, they say, I found this out, that a doctor, when he becomes a top doctor, he's not called doctor.
What do they call him?
Mr.
Mr. And you called me Mr. McKenzie?
I call him Mr. McKenzie.
I feel truly honoured to be called Mr. McKenzie. Why?
But I tell you why. And I thought about it like this. They always say when a person comes to themselves and they recognize who they are, they're more powerful and more profound. They don't need titles. They become who they are.
They become who they are.
You know, like like that show there, the one. What's that show with Mr. Murphy? You remember the Morpheus?
Oh, now you're making references to the Matrix.
The Matrix.
Oh wow.
You know, and you remember the guy with the glasses there, and all this.
And
they always say is Mr. Murphy or something.
Oh, the agent.
The agent,
oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was always searching for Neo, who was the one who found himself.
But the guy with the glasses always said Mr.
Yeah.
And it is profound, you know. And I know we have already delved deep into the interview already, but identity, Paul, is a key factor.
Identity is the key factor, and you're actually quite right that when you do find yourself, you find that you don't have to question your identity.
Yes.
And that's in terms of personal life coaching, in terms of personal transformation. That's the stage where people need to get to.
Yes.
Where you said Mr.
Yes.
And then you said Matrix, and then it all made sense because when you do find yourself, people can just go. And you know they're talking about you.
Yes.
And I think people need to get to a stage where they find that freedom within themselves to accept who they are.
Yes.
And this is a lot of you follow my work, you know what I'm all about. This is where I'm trying to get people is to know who they are. Yes. And once you know who you are, change is inevitable. And he said that in the Matrix.
It's so funny. I said that, and I never thought about the Matrix until just now, because you inspired me just sitting there. And the whole aspect of the Matrix there about achieving, everything is aiming for the one.
Yeah. The most important part of the Matrix is this, though. This is what people miss, is that they actually believed in Neo more than Neo believed in himself.
Wow.
And he had to change his beliefs to their beliefs to become the one.
Wow.
So did he really even exist?
Wow.
Or did they just want somebody like Neo to save the world?
I'm concerned now because I hope people are not switching off and jumping to the Matrix before they watch the show.
Check out the Matrix, man.
Check out the Matrix.
Deeper than you think.
Deeper. No, listen, that is very powerful. But listen, Paul, I want to just talk to you, and I think we sort of dealt with this already a while ago. Who is Paul Mr. McKenzie, who is Paul?
Who is Paul?
I thought we just,
Paul is a man who's potentially found who Paul is.
Yes.
It took me many years of doing, I had many careers, many different careers. Some of them good, some of them rewarding. A lot of them, not what I wanted to do. Most of what I've done all my life, I didn't want to do. I did it for money. Yeah. I did it for family. But now I'm at a stage in my life where I'm doing to change other people's lives. Yeah. I even got involved in life coaching as a way to try and be a light worker in other people's lives and work a lot with adults. And that kind of led me to what I do now with the work I do with young people. Yes. Because I believe that young people have the ability to see more of their neo than somebody who's, for example, trying to coach somebody who's our age, who is set in their way. Life's already beaten them down. They don't want nothing. They've already accepted that their identity is hidden in a shell somewhere in somebody else's closet. But when you work with young people, there's still that spark.
It is very interesting what you said, that because I had a guest some weeks ago, and it was a young person, and I asked a question, and I believe this slightly. Are young people the conscience of a nation?
Absolutely.
Because when fundamental changes are shipped, you got the Arab Spring. You've got, even when the Brexit factor, what was a drove of young people? It's like subconsciously they recognize something is wrong.
Is this because they are young? Is this because they're the generation that's going to precede us?
Yes.
We have to look at
Paul,
these things.
I'm young, Paul.
No, I know you are young. I mean, young girl. I'm talking teenagers.
Teenage. Okay. Let's clarify that.
But we're at a stage now where we look back at the generation that's coming up. Yeah. And all we can see is a lot of negative. We're drawing a lot of negativity from the next generation. I think that's very dangerous. Yes. I think the media or narrative around young people needs to change because you remember they're going to replace us. Yes. So us as adults have a responsibility to change that narrative. And this is something that I keep talking about. We have to, if we don't change that narrative now, then what are we bringing up?
They're actually going to walk into that narrative, believing that narrative. And then when we become elders, then who's going to be taking care of us?
There you go. So it's our responsibility to change the narrative. So, my thing is that not all young people are bad. In fact, the majority of young people are good.
I believe that very
but we highlight the young people that are negative.
Yes.
And so we have to ask why they're negative. Why do they feel they have to carry knives? Why do they feel there's nowhere for them to go in life apart from a gang? Why do they feel those things? And so my job is looking at the root causes of that. So I'm not interested in the media that surrounds it. I'm interested in the root cause when I'm...
Okay, it's interesting what you said that, because I'll get sometimes people will send things to me, and there's a couple of videos which was shown earlier, and you see that video and say, what's going on with the young people? And then you just said it, but that's just a few young people.
Yeah. But in the media, it's
everybody.
Every child.
All the black kids, if anything.
The reality of gangs are that they're very few. Real gangs.
Yes.
You want to go up north. I've been up north and met real gangs. I've been to Margate, met real gangs. Yeah. Very few of them are black. But the word gang has been tarnished with the colour black. And so now automatically, and then, that's something in the narrative that needs to change as well. Because the majority of really hardcore gangs, they're not black.
Yes.
You only have to take a trip up north, but because we're in London, there's a concentrated...
This is a bubble.
Everything is the black boys. And some of those black boys are doing wonderful things.
Right. So therefore, we need to mash up that bubble.
We need to shatter it.
Shatter it.
Shatter it.
Shatter it. Now, this leads down into the whole aspect of the knife crime factor, because on the top of the news, in certain quarters, knife crime is trending, and we are just touching the silent killer, which sometimes on the top of the agenda, and next, I saw, and people have seen that video where you spoke to that young man who was in drugs. I've seen videos where you talk to young people about knife, and the fact that it seems a bit common and normal when you are speaking to them.
Yeah.
What is it that you capture from these, and what drives you to do this, Paul?
Well, the one thing I do capture from everybody I interview is that there is a scope, there's an area for change.
Yes.
Yeah. And it boils down to this. It's very simple.
Yeah.
There's change at every level.
Yeah.
If a child says to you, I carry a knife because I need protection, you ask them, protection from what?
What? Yeah.
So you drill down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is most youth workers stay on the level here.
Right.
You carry a knife, you're bad. No, I drill down. Why do you carry a knife? Why do you feel you need protection? What's it like at home? What's your engagement with your parents? And I try and bring all of that back together, because I don't believe fundamentally young people just instinctively carry knives. They carry knives because they're fearful of something. And you know, and I know as an adult, if you're fearful of something, unless you investigate what that fear is, you're always going to be fearful of it. So we need to start back to the narrative again. Yes. Unless we start changing and identifying what is the fear, what is this bogeyman that young people are afraid of? Yes. Who is this guy on the corner that traps our children? Who is this gang that abuses our young girls? Who are they?
Let's go and let's investigate.
Let's investigate.
Let's go and walk and let's see what is there.
Do you understand where I'm going with it? Yeah. And until you get a young person on their own and start using the skills you've got as an adult and an experienced adult to find out what's going on in their lives and actually ask the question, what would you do or where would you be if you wasn't in a gang or on the street? What's your passion?
Yes.
And I'm working with a young man at the moment who very stereotyped in that way. You know, even got a criminal record because of other young gang members, and yet he's a very talented editor. So we're now doing some work together on his editing skills.
And now he's gone into his eyes are open.
His eyes are open.
Now, Paul, there's a key factor right there, and they always talk about like gangs or whatever. They have some skill set, if anything. Yeah. Everybody has this, I call it the element. They've got this bit in them which just need to shine a light on.
It just needs somebody to say, I see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. And literally, when I say that, you say to a young person, I can see the potential in you. It starts them thinking. Yeah. And you know, there's no West Indian saying, if you don't plant the seed. And you have to be a gardener when you're working with young people. You've got to be planting seeds all the time. Yes. You can't just say you're a bad weed. Yes. And so I'm going to treat you like that. No, you have to say, okay, that's the behavior. That's what you're in trouble for. That's what the law says you've done. But deep down inside, you're still a human. You're a child.
You know, I follow you. I follow your posts. Well, we follow each other. But there's one which you mentioned. It was a deep post, you know. It was about, you know which one it is. You write so much, Paul. You can't keep up in there. Every morning there's some question there. But the one is about that young man who you saw over many years ago. And he said he remembered when you restrained him.
Yes.
And you said to him, no, I didn't restrain you. Actually,
embraced you.
Embraced you.
I embraced you.
I want to go on a break, but just explain that sort of scenario. Yeah.
It's not uncommon. I've been mentoring for the last 15 years, so I meet children that are now adults. Yes. And I often get, and my wife's always saying to me, who's this man talking to you? And I always say, well, I used to teach him. She said, no way, such a respectable man. And this again goes back to planting the seeds, because when the school called it restraint, and that's what it said on his file, I was embracing him. And every time I was embracing him, I was whispering to him, you're bigger than this, you're better than this. Yes. And you'll be amazed at how you plant the seed and they do listen. Yes. So the hours we spent embracing actually changed his life. Now he's at uni. So whereas the teachers went with the stereotype, this is a child you have to, because when I met the boy, they said, you know, beware, you're going to have to spend half the day restraining him on the floor. And my thing is, why would you give him that title before I've even met the boy? So they're planting a narrative of negativity
into you already.
Exactly. But I always refuse the narrative. Yes. I always say, until I experience it, nothing is true.
And this is similar to the gentleman in the States. I think, I don't know if his name is Mr. Miller. The two chap was about to fight, and they're fighting, and they say, hang on, all your friends laughing at you. Why are you doing that?
Look at them
look at them laughing at you.
And you could see the moment where they said, oh my God, they are laughing at us. You know, everybody's got their phones out. Everybody wants to get that #1 video.
Yeah, one is going to get hurt or something like that, and they're going to laugh.
Exactly, so nobody really cares. In fact, what they've got the phones out for is they're hoping that one of them will be fatally injured. And so that would become a viral video, because everybody wants to capture. Nobody wants to capture children or young people doing amazing things. They want to capture them doing negative things, so it can perpetuate the media that surrounds young people now. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break and come back. More exciting things with Mr. Paul McKenzie. Mr. McKenzie, correction. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, and I've got Paul McKenzie, and of course I've changed his name to Mr. McKenzie because there's a profound difference if you really understand, and you'll know if you're watching. Ha, got you. Paul, listen, there was a video which you interviewed this young man, and I think you were saying that he could do drugs and get kids or whatever like that, you know. I'm not going to talk much about the video, but what is the gentleman said in that video that he can approach lots of young men, kids or whatever like that, and he can actually, you know, get them to do things. Where's the community stand with that? How does what's the role of the community now with the knife factor? And I'm going to break it a bit further down. You remember that video with Sesame Street? Who are the people in your neighborhood?
Who are the people in your neighborhood? The people that you meet each day.
They are the people that you meet each day.
There you go.
Now, I bring it down to, is it the neighborhood we should be focusing or the community factor dealing with this?
I think they go hand in hand. Community's got its part to play.
Yeah.
We as individuals have all got our part to play.
Yeah.
And I've always said this, and I say this all the time in my videos, is that we're at the stage that debates are dead.
Yeah.
So let's stop debating about why young people are doing this, why young people are doing this, when you can spend less time debating and just an hour of your time engaging.
Yes.
That's how we're going to change it as a community, because, you know, it goes back to that whole saying, loco parentis, where the community looks after your child while you go out.
Yes.
We've got to get back to that stage, whether or not we're asking too much of the adults or the community as a whole. But in order to see change, we have to change the narrative around young people. We have to start engaging them and not being fearful of them.
Yes.
Because at the moment, the average adult is fearful of young people.
There's young people.
And I tell you this from experience, you walk up to a group of young people, they're not just going to stab you.
Yeah.
They're going to find out why you walked up to them. So if the narrative you bring them is positive, and you know, we've done this so many times, what happens is they engage in that conversation. If you walk up to them and say, "You guys are carrying knives, you scare me," what do you think they're going to do? They're going to scare you.
Yeah.
So you've got to walk up there with positive narrative, and this is what I keep saying. We've got to change it. The media says one thing, we've got to say something else. We're the ones that are in charge of our community, not the media. The media may have an agenda to make it seem as if every child, you know, as potentially, every child is potentially a killer. This is what it is now, isn't it? So you look around and you go, young people, oh my God, he's potentially a killer. He could be potentially a scientist.
Yes.
Potentially an accountant.
Yes.
Potentially a lawyer.
Yes.
But we're not asking that question.
Yes.
We're asking about, he could kill.
Yeah.
Well, the actual fact is he probably would never kill. But we highlight as a media, and you know, it's back to all these videos that are being shared around, and we only share those things.
Yeah, and it's important what you said about sharing, because someone was saying they mentioned a particular video, not to do with young people, and I was sharing it, and I said, "Oh, you haven't mentioned anything about that?" I said, "No, I didn't, because I called a few people about it, and I recognized that there's some error in it." And I said, "Why are you sharing it?" Well, people ask, "Who are people? Why are we just sharing things for sharing's sake?"
We're deep down inside, we all have a quest for sharing. We all want to be liked. This is the platforms that we're on. We need the likes. We need the emotions that go behind it.
We need a video that goes viral.
Yes, and we need to have content that that shares.
Yes.
So that's the nature of sharing. I share it with you. You share it with somebody else, and it keeps going. What I find is that the minute it becomes a positive message, the sharing stops.
Yes.
And that's something that's always concerned me. But then I understand human nature is exactly like that. It's harder to share something that creates change. And it's easier to share something that perpetuates negativity.
Or keep the stereotype.
And it keeps the stereotype.
Yeah.
Feeds it.
Feeds it, yeah.
So it feeds that matrix of young people are killers. We all like to hear that. You know, every time we turn on the news, oh my God, somebody else is dead. I can't leave my house. Well, actually you can, because it's back to reality is this.
Yes.
Whatever you hear on the news should be justified by what you see when you walk out your front door. And if there's a disparity there, you need to question why you're not seeing young people kill.
And why you've never seen one, but yet.
And why you've never seen one, but yet you are at a place in your life where you know that's what young people do. I always say this to people: look out your window. That's reality. The box that brings the information into your front room, you need to start questioning that.
Yes.
You need to start questioning why the content is there every day. It's frequent. It's always there. What's the agenda behind labeling young people as for this generation, this particular generation coming? Is there an agenda behind it?
Yes.
Because every young person I come up to wants to do something really positive with their life. They just don't know how and where and who to speak to. So why aren't we providing them with that information?
And that's very interesting. And that means to say that we have a responsibility then to change the narrative, but also to provide the medium to effect that narrative.
Now you're on my page.
And now you've created.
Now you're on my page.
Yes.
So if you continue to share images of young people in a negative light, then the situation will never change.
And there's something, I don't know if there's something developing which you're doing. There's a new news structure, media thing that you're doing. Should I say that? There's a new, you got a new page. You got a new
Urban News.
Urban News.
Urbannews.co.uk.
I'm following you, man.
You know, already it hasn't actually launched yet, but there's already 15,000 subscribers.
Yes.
And this is when I say urban in the sense, and a lot of people say urban, black isn't urban. I said, well, no, urban is a human thing.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
And that's the interesting thing about words and perception. And sometimes I say to people, perception is sometimes stronger than fact.
Yeah. It's what people perceive. And this is, it all ties into narrative, because, you know, and I know we're going to be talking about the whole business thing.
Yeah.
But with young people, a platform like Urban News shows potential. It shows that if you're a young editor, or if you have content which is positive, it can be displayed globally on a platform that is only going to share real-time information.
Yes.
So it's going to share, it will share news which is negative, and it will also share news which is positive.
Yes.
But it will attempt to create more of a positive sandwich for what we want to see.
Yes.
You know, because nobody wants to know that their child may not come home from school. So the reality of it is you can't follow your child to school. The reality of it is you could engage with your child more. You could find out what they're about, and you could also. And this goes back to the house. You know, we're very similar, because I've, you know, you've seen my family, I've seen your family. Is that there is a certain level. What is it that makes you know what your family's up to? I'm asking you a question. What is it that makes you know what your family's up to?
What makes me? Because I have a relationship with them.
You have a relationship with them, so you share the same values.
Share the same values.
Right.
I mean, this morning before I left out, my handkerchief here in my pocket, all set out nice, but my daughter wanted to fold it again. She wanted to do it. And I had another one, and it's folded nicely. No, she wants to do it. So I said, do it. Building a relationship. Now, we touched on community earlier. And growing up back in Jamaica, I'm from Ocho Rios. One of the things that you know can happen is that if you're misbehaving on that road, someone within that community have that right to reprimand you. Maybe not hit you, but reprimand you. But why, Paul? I tell you why. I found out. And I realized because the adults have a relationship already.
Because there's a community.
There's a community.
Yeah, and it goes back to local parentis.
Yes.
If I'm out of eyesight, do not think you can do something without the man at number 16 telling me when I come home.
Yes.
And the man at number 16 has an inherent responsibility to look out his window and make sure that it's all running right.
Yes.
This is what's going on. When we look out our window, we're only concerned with our own small portion of our community.
Yes.
But why not be concerned with your community as a whole?
Yes.
And it only takes one man, two men, a group, a positive group to engage back in the community for things to change.
Yes.
So, you know, we have to stop talking about what's wrong with the community and start becoming a community.
That's powerful. So therefore, when we see a video, and right now, okay, tonight, you and I know, more than likely you're going to see a video of some killing of some kids. What's happening?
It's happening again. Oh my
it's
God.
happening again. What's wrong with the Isn't that the first thing? What's wrong with the community?
Yeah, it's our community. And then where is the community? I read a post and it said the other day, it was in response to, it was knife and gun crime. It was a meeting that was supposed to be held in a town hall in South London somewhere, and somebody put on a post. I attended, nobody was there. In fact, the building was closed. Why couldn't somebody tell me before I made the journey? And so, what does that tell you?
Yes.
So we keep setting up these meetings, and they're only ever just meetings. You don't need meetings. You need to put your jacket on, go to your community, walk around your community, police your community, become your community again. So if you see something, do you know there's some communities, if somebody walks out the house and sees rubbish, that's their responsibility.
Yes.
They will clear that up.
Yes.
But we leave the rubbish.
We leave the rubbish there for someone else.
And then we complain about the rubbish starting to smell.
And then that is about politics. We come to the council and the MP and everything like that, which we'll come back to later. Paul, listen, thank you so much for that. Yeah?
No problem.
Good.
Pleasure.
That's part one, Paul. Because, ladies and gentlemen, next week we're going to have Paul again, where we're going to talk about politics, Brexit, community, but most importantly, also black business. And my question is going to be, is it black ownership or black business? That's the question. Remember to like, subscribe, and share our videos, and see you next time on the SYLBOURNE Show.
I mean, generally what you do get from people when you ask them why they do that particular thing is they just want money.
Yes.
And so you've got to be, and that's a generalization.
Yes.
And what you have to understand is with any human, when you're communicating with them, they will always offer the generalization, but it's your job to go specific.
Yes. Hi, thanks for watching our video. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and share and like, and don't forget to comment, but first subscribe.
My name's Paul McKenzie. I've just been on the SYLBOURNE Show. Please like and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel.